صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Look at this. These are people who claim to respect Jesus. They claim to honor Jesus. They claim to follow Jesus. But they pay absolutely no attention to anything he said. What would Jesus say about Muslims gathering in Times Square to get maximum attention for their prayers while they pretend to fast during Ramadan? We don't have to wonder. All we have to do is read. In Matthew 6, Jesus condemns religious practices that are meant to impress other people, acts of righteousness that are just for show. The chapter begins, "Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them, for then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven." If your goal when you pray or fast or give to charity is to be seen by others, then being seen by others is your reward. You get no reward from God. Verses 5 to 6. "And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." If you're praying to put on a show, if you're praying to be seen by others, like all of these people, then being seen by others is your reward, no reward from God. But Jesus isn't done. Verses 16 to 18. "And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Jesus condemns prayer that's meant to be seen by others. He condemns fasting that's meant to be seen by others. If you're praying and fasting in order to gain a reputation for righteousness, Jesus says that your prayer and fasting are worthless before God. But it gets worse, because when Jesus condemns fasting that's meant to be seen by others, he's talking about people who are really fasting. He's talking about people who are really fasting, but they want everyone to notice. Imagine what Jesus would think of this public fasting if the people doing it aren't really fasting. Imagine the level of contempt Jesus would have for a religious practice of public fasting that isn't even fasting. Ramadan is a month of feasting that for some reason is called fasting. It's trans fasting. It's feasting that identifies as fasting. Muslims gorge themselves with food at night, then gorge themselves with food early in the morning, then sleep all day. They wake up in the evening and gorge themselves with food again. Then they gorge themselves again in the early morning, and again sleep all day. They call this month-long cycle of binge eating and sleeping fasting. No one else in the history of the world thinks you're fasting when you're feasting. But this is Islam, so remember that the rules of opposite world are in full effect. The Muslim population spends a month out of every year binge eating while pretending that binge eating is fasting. And here we have Muslims gathering in Times Square to make sure the entire world knows they're praying and pretending to fast. Jesus condemns doing acts of righteousness to be seen by others. He calls people who do acts of righteousness for show hypocrites. Everything in Islam is for show. Look at me, I'm praying. Look at me, I'm fasting. Look at me, I'm giving dawah. Check out my zabiba. I think it's safe to say that when an entire religion encourages doing acts of righteousness to be seen by others, Jesus would call it a religion of hypocrisy. Happy Ramadan to all the Muslims who are watching this in the middle of the night because you sleep all day. You claim to respect Jesus when all you do is the exact opposite of everything he said. If you have a drop of genuine respect for Jesus, then remember what Jesus said about your hypocritical version of make-believe fasting. As you're gorging yourselves with food early in the morning and preparing for a difficult day of sleeping. If you do take everything Jesus said about what not to do as part of your religion, and you roll it all up into a ball, you get Islam. Islam is an antichrist religion. It's antichrist nonsense. Leave this pagan hypocrisy. Leave the fake Isa of Islam and follow the true Lord, Jesus Christ.
It just backfired on you. It just backfired on you. This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah?